is one of the very favorite songs of William Valentino. So we'd like to do that this time featuring Billy and On a Clear Day. Gentlemen, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4.
Around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star you feel part of. Shore, you can hear from far and near a world you've never heard before. On that clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever and ever.
Billy Valentino. Mr. Michael Nitschke.
You feel part of every mountain, stream and shore. You can hear from far and near a world you've never heard before. On that clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever and ever and ever and ever more.
Billy Valentino, thank you for a wonderful job. And now we'd like to do a little selection featuring the twin pianos, a little medley beginning with I Want to Be Happy. I'm looking over a four-leaf clover, and on the end, happy days are right here in Canada. Beautiful nation with beautiful people, and a beautiful day today. Gentlemen, let's do it. days are right here, gang. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate that indeed. And now a lovely song. As you know, Guy Lombardo liked to play all different songs, and one of the favorite songs of his was the one that featured his wonderful brothers, which was Carmen Lombardo on the alto saxophone, featuring Michael Zradicka, and on the trumpet was, of course, Liebert, who is living and doing very well in Sanibel, Florida, and said hello to all you friends here. So how about a hello back to my friend Liebert Lombardo. He loves you, as do we and his family. The wonderful song we're going to play is Begin the Begin. Mr. Michael Hackett from Grants Pass, Oregon. They call that Begin the Begin. Thank you. And now Billy Valentino to sing a wonderful song that was written by the one and only Irving Berlin. A beautiful song entitled, I'll Be Loving You Always and Always and Always. And we'd like to dedicate this to a lady down at the hospital, to Verilon Traer. Verilon, we loved you. Here's a kiss, and I hope you got it. Always, fellas. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2.
I'll be loving you always with a love that's true, always. When the things you plan need a helping hand, I will understand always, always. Days may not be fair.
Hello, Ron, can you hear me?
Always, that's when I'll be there. Always, not for just an hour, not for just a day, not for just a year, but always.
Billy Valentino, and always. Mr. Wesley Woodrow and his baritone. I'll be loving you always and always. Billy Valentino, take a bow, please. Ah, Billy does a wonderful job. And now we have a lovely twin piano number, ladies and gentlemen, featuring Brian and Al Pierson. We'd like to do Somewhere My Love, Laura's theme as a foxtrot, as the Lombardos did it with the twin pianos. Gentlemen. One, two, one, two, three. Somewhere My Love. Somewhere, my love, the twin pianos. Thank you so much. On every program that I've ever seen on Guy Lombardo, they always played one song, and that was the Johnson Rag. The Johnson Rag. Do we have any Johnsons out there? Oh, there's 1,514. Isn't that wonderful? I love it. The Johnson Rag. Fellas? Gentlemen, a one, two, a one, two. Ladies and gentlemen, they called that the Johnson Rag. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now a very lovely arrangement of a beautiful song written by Hoagy Carmichael, the one and only Stardust. We're going to feature Mr. Jay Roberts from Denton, Texas, and Michael Zradicka from Chicago, Illinois. A one, two, a one, two. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Michael Zradicka, thank you. Lombardo's Royal Canadians with Hoagie Carmichael's great hit, Stardust. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be a short intermission at this time. We'll be back in a few moments with more music to dance to and romance to.
Well, hi everybody, Craig Cole at Victoria Park, and with me is Tyrone Trayer, the founder and executive director of the Royal Canadian Big Band Festival. I've known you for a couple of years. You look like a happy guy tonight.
Very happy. It's excellent turnout tonight.
Isn't this great?
Tremendous.
We were just chatting before they gave us the cue, and as we talked here about, well, 5 to 11, people were coming in from my left, and I think probably from the other fireworks display.
I believe that.
Tyrone, I'm not very good at crowd estimating, and it's dark out there, but I got to think 15,000 people. There's got to be.
I don't like to exaggerate about numbers, but I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
I would say at least that I've walked through the park, and it's at least 15,000, and it's getting bigger now, coming into midnight for the fireworks display.
It was fun earlier. We pre-taped an interview, as you know, with Kenny Gardner, who was for so many years the singer with the Royal Canadians, and we're going to be meeting Al Pierson, who is the present conductor of the band, right after we finish chatting with you, and then we're going to show that Kenny Gardner tape. But it was so obvious when Kenny introduced me to his wife, and then you introduced me to Guy's sister, the amount of pleasure that this annual event here in London gives to the Lombardo family.
Tremendous amount of pleasure, and they're very proud of London, Canada, and when they come up here, they very much look forward to the event. And well, it's, as you know, when Kenny spoke tonight, it's kind of an emotional thing too for him, because Guy always spoke very highly about London, Canada. So he loves the city, and the Lombardos are glad to be back in London, Canada, the home of Guy Lombardo.
Tyrone, thus far the 1992 festival has been a great success. We're here at Victoria Park tonight with the concert that Colonel Tom wanted so badly to always be free, as you said, not just for a privileged few.
That's correct. Yeah.
Tomorrow night, another free concert here at Victoria
That's right.
Park.
Tomorrow night.
If anybody out there likes Dixieland jazz, and I know there are thousands who do, the Sultan Six, I mean, they are really something else.
Very good band.
And they start when? What time?
7:30 tomorrow night in Victoria Park.
And that's a 2-hour concert.
2-hour concert, free admission.
Straight through until 9:30. Now, we will be here with Cable 13 again tomorrow night. That, unfortunately, will end the televised portion of the 92 Big Band Festival, but tomorrow night is by no means the end of the Royal Canadian Big Band Festival. What do we got going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday night, we have again the Sultan Six Dixieland Jazz Band at the Royal Canadian Legion.
Right.
And then we move into Saturday. We have the Bourbon Street Buskers at the Palace Theatre in Port Stanley, Historic Club, all that stuff. We have the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, and then to close out the festival, we have the Mardi Gras Dixieland Jazz Band. So tickets are still available to the paid shows, and all you need to do is call 663-9467 or go to the door of the events, and tickets could be available at the doors.
Before I let you go, I want to give a special tip of the hat from Cable 13, and I know I speak for the festival as well. He was with us earlier this evening when you introduced some of the corporate sponsors who help you out so tremendously. I'm speaking of Paul Belanger.
Paul Belanger.
The general manager manager of Galleria.
That's right.
Who, quite frankly, without the financial support of the Galleria, going to lay it right on the line,
That's
the
right.
television program tonight would not be here.
Galleria made it possible, and Paul Boulanger played a big part.
And we just really appreciate that so much, because it's costly, quite frankly.
It's costly.
And Paul and his retailers, I guess, saw fit to dip into their advertising budget and give us a hand.
And plus, getting it into the shut-ins of London. I mean,
Yes.
some people can't get down to the park, and Colonel Tom always felt that it was important to get it to those people, and now Paul Boulanger felt the same, and Galleria supported it. So thank you very much.
We thank you again. We have Al Pierson standing by, so I'm going to let you go back to your things.
Great.
And once again, good luck. We'll see you tomorrow night, but don't forget all kinds of stuff. The festival phone number once again.
663-9467.
There you go, in case you want to get some tickets. There are a few still available.
Correct. Thank you to
Tyrone.
Cable 13.
Okay,
great.
back to your work, my boy.
Okay.
We're broadcasting live via Cable 13 from the Victoria Park Bandshell, where tonight, appearing under the direction of Al Pierson, is the Royal Canadian Orchestra, playing many of the songs that many people dance to for so many years throughout Canada and the United States. And coming in to join me in just a couple of seconds will be Al Pierson. While we're waiting for Al to walk in, a reminder that Cable 13 will be with you again tomorrow night from 7:30 to 9:30 here at Victoria Park. Another free concert, so if you're sitting at home tonight and you were not able to come down to the park to hear the Royal Canadians, come on down tomorrow night when the performing band will be the Sultan 6 Jazz Band. Also coming up a little bit later this evening will be an interview that we pre-taped with Kenny Gardner, who of course was for so very many years the male singer with the Lombardos. Had an opportunity personally to meet some of the members of the Lombardo family, and it was a real frankly, a real thrill for me to see the pleasure on their faces with this tremendous tribute that is paid to the Lombardo family every year by the old hometown here in London. Al, are we ready? Come on in. A gentleman that I just met for the first time this evening, although Ron Hutton, our director, has said nice things about you that your own mother wouldn't have believed.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Just a tremendously cooperative guy. Al, the story behind it. How did Al Pierson become associated with the Royal Canadians?
By a phone call in November of 1989.
That short a story?
Yes, that's a short story. I've always liked Guy Lombardo, and we went into the Hall of Fame together and sat next to each other at dinner in 1976.
Yes.
And I always had the pleasure of being associated with him, but never really...
So you knew him and knew him well?
I knew him well, and I knew his family.
Right.
And always admired his great prowess, and the fact that over the years he had like 500,000 albums, 500 million albums that they sold, and I was always just amazed at that.
Just unreal, unreal
traveling
numbers.
40 million miles during his lifetime, and 500 #1 hits, just record after record. They've never been surpassed.
You know, well, Al, I don't have to tell you. Some of the musicians in the big band era who played with the more of the swing style band, especially when you got onto some of the bands that were maybe a little further out. I think of Stan Kenton.
Oh, sure.
Would look at Guy Lombardo and he'd say, "Gee, those guys were awfully square."
Well,
but they were awfully successful.
I think they were square only in the idea that the square root has a smaller number for them.
Yeah.
Other than Guy.
Kenny Gardner was telling me earlier this evening that in his opinion, the secret to the success of the organization was they played for the dancers. I said it can't be that simple. He said it was that simple.
Well, I think there's more to it than that.
Kenny's a pretty modest guy.
Guy Lombardo had a very simple formula. Number one is that the vocal should have a nice melody to it, and the words should fit the melody.
Yes.
And then the music should be soft enough so they can talk over it, and then it should also be danceable. And that's the way it operated.
I was looking at your vehicles that you used to travel with, and what do I see to my wondering eyes but a Texas license plate? That's home base?
Yes, we live in Texas. My wife Nancy more or less grew up in the Chicago area.
Right.
And moved to Texas about 10 years coming up. And we raise lippets on our horses out there and cattle and have all the good things of that sort of life. Plus we have the good things from this sort of life.
Al, how many weeks of the year are you on the road?
I would say about 47 or 48.
I don't know if you've ever thought, well, you must have thought about this, and bands that go on the road, I know you're going to wonder how I know this. You're going to be celebrating Uncle Sam's birthday Saturday in Ohio. I heard a commercial on the radio.
That's right.
Yeah, you
That's
are. And
right.
I've forgotten the name of the town now, but.
Oh, that's right.
And it gets to my point. From one town to the next town to the next town, all the tight schedules. Get into town by a certain time, get the equipment set up, get the guys dressed, get out there, and then I guess at 1 minute after 12, start packing it all up again. And on to the next spot. How do you get up for it every night? You look like you're having fun. Is that the secret?
Well, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. But incidentally, the town we're playing in is Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we played there the last 3 or 4 years on that particular occasion, and they'll have maybe 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people there.
Right.
And it's just love it. Now, as far as getting up for the job, it's like a football player when he gets ready to go in and to play a game. He psychs himself up for it. We're here for the people. We're here to work with you. We're here to perform for the Lombardo fans and try to emulate the sound that he had and create the happiness for the people. Then it makes it easier.
I think it may, Al, boil down to one word, and it's called professional.
Could be professional.
Okay. I know you've got to go back to work in just a couple of minutes. So
Yes,
but
it's an extreme pleasure to be here. We always enjoy coming to London.
Well,
The
that's great.
birthplace of the Lombardo Orchestra,
Well,
which was in 1916.
So you know
Yes.
that it's always a pleasure for us
Oh,
to have you back.
Thank you.
Drive
Thank
carefully
you so much, and I appreciate it.
say happy birthday to our American friends on Saturday.
Okay.
Okay, Al.
Happy birthday to all the Canadians, and Saturday, happy birthday to all my American friends.
All right. Thanks,
God
Al.
bless. Thank
All
you.
right. Al Pierson, the present conductor of the Royal Canadian Orchestra. Now, we're going to go to tape right now, if we can, Ron. We had an opportunity, as I mentioned, earlier this evening to speak with Kenny Gardner, who was for so many years the singer with the Royal Canadian Orchestra. We'll take a look at that tape right now. It would have been a real disappointment for me if during this evening I didn't get the opportunity to personally meet this gentleman standing to my left. Kenny Gardner, sir, you are as much a part of the sound and the picture of Guy Lombardo's Royal Canadians as was the maestro himself, as was the twin pianos. You were with the band for how long?
Well, 38 years all told.
And I know I'm lousy at math, so what year did you join?
I joined in 1940.
Okay. And then the war broke out for you because you were from California, right, originally?
Yes, I came from California. And I was born in Iowa, raised in Nebraska, and went to California to go to college. And I got in the music business. They sent me to New York. And then in 42, they put me in the Army.
And you were there throughout the duration of the war?
4 years, so.
Back to the band.
Back to the band.
Now, of course, by the year 1940, Guy Lombardo's Royal Canadians were well established as one of the very leading
They
bands.
were always well established as far as I was concerned because they by the time I got in the band, they were already famous for 10 years.
Yes. Were they still at the Roosevelt Grill at that
Always,
time?
yeah.
Okay. And they stayed there right until the late 50s,
that?
I think. They stayed with the Roosevelt until the late 50s, did they not?
62 was
62.
our last year there.
Okay. Now, when we were chatting before we started to do this interview, I got asking you about the road trips, and you were telling me something about the Lombardo Orchestra and the long road trips and the one-nighters that I didn't realize that you didn't do that many of them.
Lombardo didn't do that many of them, and then also, we lived by Dad Lombardo's axiom: if you couldn't live like a human being, get out of the business.
Isn't that wonderful?
So, we never traveled on the road more than 4 hours in a day. And we always got to the job well in time to look over the town and so on. We had a lot of rules. One of them was 5 minutes after the theme was over, we had to be 5 miles down the road. We didn't tarry, you know. And so it was a well-organized unit. We escaped many of the foibles and so on that hit other bands, you know.
Well, Guy Lombardo, I have been told, we all know of his genius as a musician, but I've been told that he was a tough disciplinarian with the members of the band, that he knew what he wanted. No, not true?
I won't say that he was a disciplinarian, because we were all professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Either the boys in the band that come from London, they went through the early stages of it and they knew exactly what they had and what they had to do. And those of us that joined the band later on came from highly professional sources. Like I came from NBC. Some of the other guys came from some other networks, and so on.
So you knew what was expected of you.
We knew what was required, and that was it. And we played the game, and that was the way.
Seems like old times. Boo-hoo. Kenny Gardner. What? You're not going to be able to answer this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you had to think back, and if you were going to go before the band to sing one more song, one more time, what would it be? That's a really terrible thing for me to ask.
Well, it is. It's impossible because for every song that we had that was a big one, we had 3 or 4 or 5 of them just as big. You understand? And if you said, yeah, what did you do it on? I could say, well, there was Frankie and Johnny because that sold so many that we kept counting. But then we also had Dan McGrew.
Yes.
And Later Than You'd Think. And we had so many of them. And
I guess this is part of the professionalism of it, though. You know, I recall many years ago, 35 years ago, seeing the band with you out in front at the Kinsman Auditorium in Chatham. And out came Kenny Gardner, and somebody in the crowd hollered out for Seems Like Old Times. And a few minutes later, you did it.
Yeah.
And the thing that struck me at the time, I stood there and I watched you, and I said, thousands and thousands of times this man has sung this number, and he's still up for it. He looks like he's having fun. Was that true?
That was it. By that time, we were in a situation where if it wasn't fun, we didn't do it.
Yeah.
And that was the name of the game.
You played music. You were quoted one time, and I don't know whether it was an accurate quote or not, but you were quoted one time as saying that you played for the dancers.
That's right. Music, for the sake of music alone, is useless. Because then it just becomes a bunch of notes on paper. But music for a purpose is something else. And you've got to have a certain class of music and type of music for dancing. And that's what Lombardo was famous for, dance music.
You introduced me to your wife.
Yes, sir.
And a few minutes ago, and another member of the family. And I'm told that since the Royal Canadian Big Band Festival has started here every July in London, that the family makes an attempt to come back to walk around this city, to see the Guy Lombardo Museum, to drive over the Guy Lombardo Bridge, to see these people. I mean, I watched you tonight. You must have been stopped 20 times in 2 minutes. People who simply wanted to shake your hand and say hello again. That must be one heck of a thrill.
Kind of scares you. And then that's another thing. If you got any sense, and all of our boys had, that's why they always acted like gentlemen.
One final question that I cannot resist. I wish I would have asked your wife, because I don't know if you're going to tell me the truth, and she would have. But around the house,
yes,
in the shower, do you sing?
Never.
Well, we'll end the interview with that. I don't know whether you're telling me the truth or whether you're teasing me, but I had to ask.
That's it.
Kenny Gardner, thank you for stopping by tonight. Thank you for many, many years of wonderful music. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Just before we go, just before we go back to the band, want to again acknowledge our appreciation to the retailers who combined make up the Galleria Shopping Center in downtown London, whose financial support, quite frankly, is making this program possible this evening. We hope that you're having as much fun watching at home as we are here. From Victoria Park, I'm Craig Cole. Let's go back to the stage. Al Pierson conducting the Royal Canadians.
Boo-hoo. I'll tell my mama on you. The little games that you play has made her baby all so blue. You left me in the lurch. You left me waiting at the church. Boo-hoo. That's why I'm crying for you. Someday you'll feel like I do, and you'll be boo-hoo-hooing too.
Canadians Billy Valentino and Carmen's great hit, Bo-Ho! Thank you. You know, Guy Lombardo had so many records, it's almost impossible to remember them all. I think one of his greatest records was in the sale of over 500 million recordings. That is really outstanding. No big band is even close to that ever, and ever will be. That record will always remain here in London, Ontario. One of his very favorite hits, one of over 500, is a little song entitled The Third Man Theme, featuring the twin pianos. A one, two, a one, two, three. Thank you. And now another wonderful twin piano number, ladies and gentlemen. It was just one of those things. That's why this band started here in 1916. That's when they started this little old band, right here in London, Ontario, at a little parochial school. Little Fritz Kreider on the piano, and then the three Lombardo boys. It was Carmen, of course, playing the saxophone and writing the music, as well as the flute and the banjo. And of course, Guy Lombardo at that time was playing the violin. And his brother Liebert was not yet playing the trumpet. He was playing the drums and the banjo. It was just one of those things. It's a wonderful twin piano number. Fellas, let's do it. A one, two, a one, two, three. was just one of those things, folks. Oh, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. When we think of King of the Road, we think of Guy Lombardo. You know, for all the years that he performed, up till the time of his death in 1977 on November the 5th in the great state of Texas, he had traveled with his organization over 42 million miles. So he is truly the king of the road. And we're going to ask the king of the vocals to sing King of the Road like old Kenny used to sing it. One, a two, a 1, 2.
Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no food, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes. I put 2 hours of pushing broom buys 8 Petro 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. 3rd boxcar midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Old worn out suit and shoes, I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found, short, not too big around. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. Trailers for sale.